Hello friends, welcome back to our session. Now in the previous video we have seen the classification of typical application softwares, and this classification was made based on various functions and the capabilities of these applications ranging from low level to advanced level. Now we'll see in detail each of these category. This office management tool, which corresponds to the low level application systems, and the primary purpose of this office management tool is to facilitate speedy communication within the project as well as between the project and the corporate office. And examples are spreadsheets, data access and presentation softwares, then office documentation management system, message handling system, telecommunication, teleconferencing system, and office support system. I'm just reading it out, and these are the basic tools which are used in everywhere. And nowadays, not just in office, I think even at school level and college level, for basic functions we use these kind of tools. And office management systems are also used as companion tools. What is meant by companion tools? It is actually the supportive tool, and it supports the higher order tools. Okay, and these tools, they supplement the standalone project management tools to make up for the functional deficiency. See, the higher order tools, in the sense very advanced softwares, or otherwise the medium level or even higher order tools, they may be having some they may be lacking in certain functionality, so which will be met by the these low level packages or low level tools. An example is a risk management system. You can see this risk management system software comes under this high category, this classification. And for this they'll be having some functional deficiency that will be met by this Microsoft Excel tool. And some of the functions served by this Excel as companion tools are numbers manipulations, creating chart, then graphs and diagrams, then organizing data and solving formulae, and things like that. You can read it out. Resource allocation, etc. So basic idea is, when we design and develop a software package, we have this flexibility, right? We don't need to make it always like a package which has all the entire functionality, which can be availed by using some supportive tools. And now coming to the second category, which is the medium level packages, where project management is also called as the project management software tools. And there are plenty of software management solutions available. And you can see, if you search in Wikipedia, you'll find a big list where many of the systems we are not we might not have even heard about. And for civil engineering purpose, mainly we'll be projects will be using Primavera and Microsoft Project. That are the most commonly used packages. And these commonly used project management softwares, they serve certain functions, like they create plans, they speed up reporting, they monitor performance of a project, and then they help in organizing data up to date, and planning documents, etc. Like it serves various functions. And I've provided two links here. You can see that Wikipedia, you can read about this Primavera software and Microsoft packages and all. And on right side you will find two pie charts, which is actually the data, the software usage at two different regions, like in Middle East and United States. Three of these colors represent three various packages used for project management, like blue represent Primavera, and then red color represent MS Project, and then other color represent the rest of the packages. And here you can see a substantial in substantial projects in both Middle East as well as United States, they make use of Primavera packages for the project. I think we need to look for Indian scenario also. That data was not available. I was in fact in search of that Indian scenario. We'll try to get that. Now coming to the third category, which is all-in-all modular ERP system, which actually comes under the high level uh, uh, software packages. And here ERP integrates, ERP means enterprise resource planning. ERP system, it integrates all departmental and department and function throughout an organization into a single IT system, so that authorized person can take decision by viewing information spread throughout the enterprise for all business operation, which means this is more collaborative in nature, because in an organization there will be different departments and different verticals, and to integrate the functions and to coordinate different departments, we may need to have some more sophisticated and more integrated system, and that is actually um, considered as, and that is known as this all-in-all modular ERP system. I mean, integrating different modules. And ERP system provide a method for effective planning and controlling of all enterprises resources, right? And nowadays, for a big project and all, it needs to integrate so many stakeholders and so many parties, right? So for that, they need some virtual platform. Now similarly, the web-based tool hosted web-based tool is also a high level package, or high, it comes under this high level classification. And what is exactly meant by hosted application? Hosted application is any piece of software that is running on another provider's infrastructure rather than own premises. That is the definition. Means, in simple words, we don't need to do any sort of downloading. We don't need to do any sort of setups and configuration. If you want to get any piece of work done, then we can just go online, and then the system will support you to get the work done. Say for example, we use some online, some converters, then we use some online some processing and all, so we don't need to install that setup. Everything can be done by that service provider will take care of all the efforts. And now anyone with this authorization can access the website using internet, and the main advantage is that it is comparatively cheaper than acquiring a system, and it also guarantees tracking and providing solutions using hosted software facility. Now PMIS framework means ഒരു ചട്ടക്കൂട് എന്ന് പറയാം. And suppose say for example, if we are setting up an organization, then we need to have a policy, right? We need to have a policy. Policy means in general, what is our approach, what is our goal, etc., vision, mission, etc. So this we need to frame first, and then we need to identify what are the various functions, what are the activities that we need to perform, and then we need to also know how to perform a particular task, and who are the responsible persons, and when to do all these things. We need to know all the WH question. So in PMIS framework, these are the essential components. One is information management policy, then in project management information functions, then project management information architecture components, infrastructure components, then configuration responsibility, etc. Now policy means it generally includes functions, then architecture, then infrastructure, and the responsibility of the project team. So when we formulate a policy, then that should be covering the entire thing related to the PMIS. It should it should consider the various functions, and it should consider how we are what are the various software and hardware tools we use, and what sort of communications and what sort of information management we adopt, procedures we adopt, and who are the, and how do we designate and how do we coordinate various responsibility centers, etc. So these things will be covered in this policy. And then need for a robust policy arises as the MIS, or Management Information Systems, traditional role has changed from mere report generation to various strategic role, means including analysis and decision making. That is a earlier it was just a report generation kind of job for this MIS information system, MIS, but whereas now it is changing uh, to such an extent that it is giving us, helping us in decision making also. So therefore, there is a very essentially this policy, framing this policy is very essential. And then suitably designed and effectively implemented policy is essential for improving the managerial efficiency and effectiveness of a project. And now coming to this PMIS functions, uh, a list of functions can be seen here. To establish an initial database with the data structure code and baseline, and to set standards to measure and compare progress and cost, to organize efficient means of quantifying data that reflects the performance with respect to time, cost, resources, quality, etc. I'm not reading everything. You can go through it in detail. So these are some of the functions, essential functions of a PMIS, what it has to perform. Now, PMIS architecture components means basically broadly categorized into hardware and software components. And hardware means it is similar to our computer systems and all, like it has a central processing unit, and then input devices, hardware features, its keyboard, mouse, modem, scanners, etc. These are the input devices. And then it has a backup system to storage to store data, then hard disk, etc. Now the output devices are the monitor, printer, plotter, etc. And so this is a architecture of a hardware architecture of a computer, or such a information system. And then we have the software architecture components, like there are various software, there are various functions in this PMIS. And there will be planning and information manager, and there will be technical managers, there will be cost and finance manager, contract manager, material manager, so like various and each of these managers will be having their own defined responsibilities, and they have a set of functions to perform. So therefore, they will be requiring a solution, a management information solution, which means their which suits their functions, right? So therefore, for a planning and information manager, they will be requiring a software which helps them in project management services. And then a technical manager, say a designer, an architect, or a structural designer, they require something of this CAD, civil engineering design and development softwares. They require that. And then cost and finance managers, they need a tool which helps them in doing this finance management, right? So that is completely different from a designer's tool. And similarly, the contract manager, they'll be using quantity surveying and contract management tool. Say quantity surveying actually comes under this contract management. And for some of the organizations, they use separate software for doing this quantity estimation and all. And material manager basically refers to the inventory. I mean, they take care of this inventory and their material, their store informations, etc. So we need to have understanding about various functions. In order to decide upon the type of software solutions. suitable for that. And then PMIS infrastructure components means basically there are identified two components like operator and the procedure. And operator has will have certain specific roles like computer operator, then system analyst, then programmers, then data preparation personnel, data administrator, etc. So now here even in our institution we have a data administrator, right, to who takes care of all this IT related matters. And similarly, depending on the level of complexity and size of the project, and we need these kind of roles to be performed. And each of these operators will be performing certain functions like formulating policies and procedures, then establishing planning and performance standard. You can read that. And tracking variance, then collecting and collating reports and data, and so many functions will be served by these operators. And similarly, the procedure means they need to be we need to have a very clear and robust procedures for this PMI system. And then SOP means that is usually provided by standard operating procedure. And this SOP usually comes in the form of manual or booklet. Even in an organization, they'll be having a standard operating procedure for any organization, how they have to perform. Now that actually helps in providing a regulatory framework, and various functions served are this SOP, which helps in project organization and management responsibility. It serves project organization and management responsibility, and project proposal approval policy, then administration of contracts, and then document control, then testing specification and test equipment calibration, safety, personal training, statistic data control. These are not exhaustive, and still there are so many other functions which is not listed here. So in SOP all these aspects will be covered. And then PMIS configuration and responsibility. PMIS can be viewed as a group of subsystem, and it follows OBS. OBS means organization breakdown structure, and each organizational responsibility centers in a project can be viewed as a subsystem, and these subsystems are highly interdependent and interactive. PMI is usually not a one-man show, and it needs cooperations of team members and the backing of stakeholders. Basically, this is a system which is which could be a collaborative in nature, I mean dealing with the various subsystems. Now coming to this project data structuring and codification and performance reporting and trend analysis. This codification is an integral part of project management information system. Here the whole activities, resources or informations are broken down into smaller elements, and they are assigned meaningful unique identification codes, and these codes help in managing the data in a structured manner. So since this particular topic is covered in second module, we'll be looking at this in that second module. So therefore I'm skipping the content related to codification. This is a very integral part of this project management information system, the codification. Now we'll cover this in next video.